Hey everybody, Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing. How you guys doing? I have finally got everything I think ready here for the crankbait video that I promised you guys. And when I look at all the crankbaits I have, to do everything in one video would be a 5-hour video. So I'm going to start with deep diving crankbaits. So anything that's kind of like 14, 15 to 20 plus. And I'll just show you the rods I use, the line I like, the reels I use, and some of the baits that I have here that I would classify as deep crankbaits. Now I think if you're new to cranking, the first thing you got to do is find yourself a rod, that you like. I have 3 different crankbait rods that I use throughout the season when I'm cranking. And I really haven't done as much deep cranking in recent years as I've done with like square bills and things like that, and rattle traps and those kind of baits. But every now and then I will, depending on what lake I'm on, I will get some of the deep cranks out. But just a couple of the rods I use. This is, I have 2 glass rods and 1 regular graphite rod. This is the old Rick Clunn rods. If you guys have these, you know this color. And this is his Deep 2 cranking stick that I use quite often. It's a glass rod. It's a 7/8, so it's a long rod. This one is actually medium action, and I kind of prefer a medium action rod when I'm cranking. So this is usually the one I have in the boat if I'm going out cranking. Even if it's not that one, usually it's both of them. I'll have, if I can get these out without hitting everything in the ceiling. This is my Enigma glass rod, the Atomic 29 cranking series, and this one is a medium heavy, 7/4. And this is kind of the one I used last season the most for pretty much all my cranking, whether I was deep cranking or square bill cranking or throwing a trap or whatever. But this is kind of my favorite crankbait rod right now. And you don't have to use a glass rod. I just like them for cranking. And I've gotten used to them and like them. But if you like a graphite rod, I also have one of my Ardents, their crankbait rod series. Nice and light. And this is, I think this is a 7/6. Yeah, this is a 7/6 medium from Ardent. It's their crankbait series. So if you want something that's not quite as expensive, these are really good. I like them a lot, and it's nice and light. And this is a 7/6 medium. So so all 3 of these rods are good for cranking. If you have a brand you like, go with it. Whatever you like is the way to go. Some of the reels I've been using, I was using this Enigma. This is one of their Valkyrie reels. I think this is the VL100. I forget I don't know if it has it on here. I think these are all 6/3 to 1, but I'm not sure. But I don't want too fast of a retrieve reel for cranking. Some guys even like 5/3 to 1. I've tried it. I'm not a fan, so I kind of stick with like a 6/3 to 1. But that Valkyrie is fine. I like that. This 6/5 to 1 Ardent Elite is good for cranking. I like this one. And I even started using, when I got this Lose, one of the Speed Spool Lose last year, I was using that a little bit for cranking and throwing chatterbaits and spinnerbaits and stuff. So they're all fine. Whatever low profile reel you like. I don't like too high speed of a reel for cranking. I try to keep it to 6/3 to 1, 6/5 to 1, or even slower, because I do have a 5/3 to 1 that I have used, but I just kind of like that 6/3 to 1 better. As far as line goes, I don't usually go higher than 10 pound. Fluorocarbon, I like Sunline, I like Seagar, I like the Invisex 10 pound. With the one, I don't usually go higher when I'm deep cranking than 10 pound. And I do like fluorocarbon. So I kind of have stuck with that since fluorocarbon has gotten better, in my opinion. So, rod you like, I prefer a medium rod. I like something that's at least 7/3 or bigger. And whatever bait caster you like, whatever low profile you like, bait caster is you're good to go. Now, as far as baits go, if you guys could see what I had laying around here, I really don't know where to start. Let me start with the ones I've pulled out on the table here. And I even wrote down the sizes of some of these and some of their, because I wouldn't remember all of them off the top of my head. But probably my go-to deep diving crankbait, if I know I'm going to go deep cranking, unless I bought a brand new one and I want to try it out, I still love the Norman DD22. And I've got a ton of these. Some of these hooks are, I pulled these out of the box. Some of these hooks have had it. The hook is probably still good. It just needs to be filed down a little bit. But the DD22 has always been good to me. This is just a couple of the colors I pulled out. These crayfish colors are good. I've always done well with this that green and chartreuse top there, or I should say blue and chartreuse, that like baby blue. I forget what they call that one. If you like a darker bait, these can have their times when they're good. Like a shad color. These are all DD22s in some different colors. And speaking of DD22s, let's see if I can find the box here. Now I could pull all of them out and show them to you, but I could do just a video on DD22s. So there's a ton of colors. There's actually some Strike King, I think, in that box too. Yeah, I think there's some Strike Kings in there too. A little bit of everything in that box. But the DD22 is always one of my go-to crankbaits. It's not overly expensive. They have tons of colors and they run true. I've always thought they run true. So if you want to, you know, go with an old school, kind of, if you want to call it that, but a classic deep diving crankbait, the DD22 from Norman is a great way to go. And the DD22s, just to give you their it's a 3-inch bait, 5/8 ounce, and they're kind of calling for a 15 to 18 foot diving depth. Another old one that they don't make anymore, and you guys, old school guys, know these old Pose Super Cedars. I loved these when they first came out. I wish I still had all of them. This is the deeper diver one that I've got, but these are wood baits. These were great. I caught a lot of fish on these back in the day. This is like the smaller size. This isn't quite as deep the diver. Maybe you could find them on eBay, or if you know somebody who, you know, has them, doesn't throw them anymore. But I used to love those old Pose Super Cedars. They were great back in the day. One of the more popular deep diving crankbaits is the Strike King 6XD. These are the 6XDs here. The 6XD is a 3-inch bait, weighs an ounce. It'll go about 17 plus feet. So that's your kind of the standard for a lot of guys. Strike King 6XD. A couple colors there. Is that 60 shad color. If you want to go real big, you could go with the 10XD. I don't have any of the 8XDs unless I digging through when I happen to find one. But if you want to go through a big bait, and I'll talk more about these real big crankbaits later on, but if you want to go a real big, the 10XD, which, just to give you a comparison, this is from here to here is 6 inches long. It's almost a 2-ounce bait, and these are going to go like 25 plus feet. When you're throwing big crankbaits like this, you get a workout in. They are a workout throwing those all day, let me tell you. Let me just see what else I've got pulled out here. The old fat-free shad, the old Bomber fat-free shad. I have a bunch of these. I think there's a Gen 2 that they sell, but I don't have any of the new ones. These are the old Bill Dance ones. You guys can see the old Bill Dance on there. All the ones that I have in the boxes that I pulled out. This was one of the first crankbaits I threw back in the day. This guy right here caught me a lot of fish back in the day when I first started cranking. I must have put one of those goofy hooks on there. If I was going to throw this tomorrow, I'd change that hook for sure. I'm sure these are old hooks, a lot of these. Some of these are old triple grips on there. But the old fat-free shad. And as I said, I think there's a Gen 2 you can get on Tackle Warehouse. I don't know if I wrote anything down about that. Yeah, 3-inch, 1-ounce bait, 12 to 16 feet. That's their what they call it, their Gen 2. For you guys who like these old school ones, I'm sure I don't think they sell them anymore, but you could probably find them on eBay if you really want some. Let's see. The Spro Little Johns are nice. This is just the Little John DD. You can see that big bill on there. The Little John DD. You have a few of them. This is a 70 size, I believe. Good hooks on the Spro baits. If you want to go real big on the Spro, this is the 90. This is the Little John Super DD 90. So that's another big crankbait, you know, like that 6XD you're throwing, or I'm sorry, 10XD. That's another of those big, oversized crankbaits that'll give you a workout. But just to give you some stats on the Spro, the Little John is 2.75 inches. There you go. 3/4 ounce bait. This will give you about 16 to 20 foot of depth. And the lighter the line you go, the deeper you can get. Now, I don't really go much, I don't go lower than 10, so if you go to 12 or 14, you won't get as much depth. And this is the, that's the 70. And here's the big one, that 90. That's a 3.5 inch size, 3.5 inch long bait, 1.5 ounces, and this will go 20 to 25 feet. So as you can see, you know, obviously it makes sense. If you've never crankbait before, the bigger the bill, the more depth you're going to get. You can see the difference between that 70 here and that 90 as far as the bill size. Oh, what else do I have? Here's a couple of custom painted deep divers from Pete from Stoneman & Son Lures. Does great paint jobs, can get any body type you want. These are just a couple that I've got from Pete over the years. I mean, I love this guy. You can see I had that tied on last time I was fishing. But some different styles, if you want your own, you know, if you got a paint job you have in mind, or you want like some custom ones, Pete from Stoneman & Son can do that for you. Now, here is an old, this is an old Lure Jensen. Now, you old school guys probably remember these hot lips. I don't remember any of the stats on these. I have seen them on eBay. I don't know what size, you know, this is, if this is a 3/4 ounce or 1/2 ounce, but, you know, you can see that bill. This thing will dig. This thing will dig. And I still got a few of these around. They're in pretty good shape, actually. So I don't know if, I know they, you know, I don't know if Lure Jensen still makes new ones of these. I didn't see it on Tackle Warehouse, but that doesn't mean some other places might have them. I'd have to research that more, but this was always a cool jerkbait. I used their speed trap and their smaller ones a lot more and caught a lot more fish doing them, but if you want a deep dive and crank, this one's a cool one. Another nice newer one is that River to Sea, that tactical bassin deep diver. I think this is like a, I forget how deep they say this runs. Let me just check for you. 3-inch bait, 3/4 ounce, about 18 feet. And these are floater. This is a floater type, so if you crank it down to 15, 18 feet, it's going to start coming back up. But they got a lot of nice colors. That's that River to Sea tactical bassin DD. Deep dive and crankbait. That's just 3 of the colors. I got more. I just pulled a few out here. Let's see. Another one of my original favorites back in the day was the Man's 20 Plus, which you can still get. And this, I don't know if this is one of the older ones. The paint's a little chipped up. The hooks aren't bad, so I must have changed them not too long ago. But the Man's 20 Plus, I caught a lot of fish on that. Back in the day when I was living in Jersey, fishing on the reservoirs, I always did well with these when I was deep cranking. It's a good crankbait. So the Man's 20 Plus is a good one. And the Man's 20 Plus, 5/8 ounce, 3-inch bait, 20 feet, 20 plus, depending on your line. Another color of the 20 Plus there. I'm not sure what colors they still have or they sell. But I don't think they ever had like a million colors. Just the ones you need to catch fish. And the last one that I pulled out on the table here is the Berkley Dredger. And this is the 25.5 foot one. And these are really nice. Really nice. I caught a few when these first came out. I did pretty well with these, but as I said, I have not done as much deep cranking the last year or two as I've done in the past. Of course, doing this video is going to make me want to do it more, but to me, deep cranking is something I do more in the summertime. But we'll talk about that, best times and places at the end of the video or after I go through the baits here. But the Dredger 20 to 25.5, and they have dredgers for different depths, but these are the deep diver ones. And they have some cool colors. They run really nice. It's a good bait, great hooks. So the Berkley Dredger is a solid deep diving crankbait. So that's the ones that I took out on the table. I hope your head isn't spinning too much. Just to show you what I didn't take out of the boxes. Here's some more Normans over here. This Norman color is a great one. It's like that chartreuse, the purple back. That was my favorite. More of the speed crawl. Here's the the smaller Lure Jensen ones here. Like that's like not as deep of a diver. But here's more of those deep diving ones. So that's what I had in that box. The Normans, some of those. Another one I didn't really talk about because I don't have a ton of them is the Rapala, the DT series, and this is the DD16. DT16 down to 16 feet. These are nice crankbaits. I don't throw them a ton. I do like them. I throw the DD10 more, I think, than the 16. So I'll just show you a couple of the 16s I have. So the Rapala DT series, if I could say it right, is a good one too. If you guys haven't tried it. But that's some of the 16s. what's this? This is 16? Yeah, so here's a couple more of the 16s I'll show you. And I've got 10s and the 5s and all the others. Another DT16. They got some cool colors. I don't know what these ones are. I said 5. I think they're 10s. DD10. I'm going to go a little shallower. DD10. I don't know what that one is. That's a DT8. I don't even know if they make a 5. But that's, you guys get the idea. So those are some of the other ones there that I haven't taken out yet. Let's see. This box I kind of showed you. It's got the bombers. It's got the Normans. And some of these Normans, you guys know, it says suspending. I never seem to think that they suspended that great. So I don't really care about them that much. There's some Strike Kings in there, it looks like. Looks like some 6XDs. Can't tell, the bill's all scratched up. Those are Normans. Normans, Strike Kings. So just some Normans and some Strike Kings. It looks like some bombers up there on the top. Some fat-free shads. You can see how old that one is with all the little ration. I put one of those goofy hooks on the back. But big box of cranks there. Let's see what else we got here. This is just, what is this? More dredgers. 25.5 dredgers. Another tactical river to sea. Some Spros, that's a smaller one and a bigger one. Another 10XD. Like I said, if you guys want to really go for the big deep crankbaits. Some more Mans, some more Strike Kings. Looks like these are all 6XDs. I don't think I have any of the 8XDs, or I'd show them to you, but I think you guys get the idea. It's more of those tactical, that river to sea, tactical bass. They're very nice. They got some cool colors. They even have more colors than when I first got them. And to finish up on the type of baits, I showed you the 10XD. Now here's if you want to go, you're going for your Magnum deep diving crankbaits. There are others, I'm sure. A lot of companies make them that I don't have, because I don't really throw these big ones that often, because they will wear you out. But if you're going to throw these real deep divers, and I'm talking 20 plus feet, the Cloud 9 series from 6 Cents, these paint jobs are beautiful, but this will wear you the heck out throwing this thing all day. I took these out when I first got them because they just looked awesome. And they're great. Caught some fish, awesome hooks, great paint jobs. But man, I could not do it for very long. It will wear you out. So if you're in good shape, you're in the mood to really chuck and wind and really pull a bait through the water, these will dive. These are like, this is the Cloud 9 C25, 3.75 inches, 1.9 ounce, almost 2 ounce bait. These will go back, they're 18 to 26 feet, so these will really dig. And I got a few of them here, because when they first came out, I thought they were the coolest thing on earth. I mean, just look at the paint jobs on the Cloud 9 from 6 Cents. They are absolutely beautiful. And I got a box of them here, along with a couple of swim baits in there. So, whoops, I don't want to dump everything out either, but you guys can see them. I mean, that's a beautiful paint job, and you can see just the size of the bill on these. This one actually, this one is actually probably a C20. This is probably because I can just tell the difference in the size of the bill here. Some of these, I guess these all aren't 25s. Let me pull these out and I'll compare them for you. Those all look pretty big. Let me see if I can give you guys a visual here. So there's one bill size. So that, I believe, now this is the 25, and I think these are the 20s. So you can see the difference in the size of the bill on these. The 20 is, very fishable. This will not kill you. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. But I would say that's more in the line of, let's see. That's even the 10XD is more like that 25. Let's see that Spro. It's kind of similar to that Spro. at 90. So that's kind of a similar bill size, so you guys can get a good view of that. For that dredger, let's see. Yeah, the dredger is even a little smaller. But these 20 and 25 foot deep divers, those are both the same. So they're just some 6 cents. Great colors. They run true. This is the one I really like. And if you want to throw that real big sucker, like these guys, these 25 plusers, they will work you out. So be ready for a good workout that day. So can't say you're being lazy if you're going to go deep cranking all day. It's like you're going to the gym and going fishing at the same time, but they will wear you out because they pull a lot of water. So just to kind of, you know, put everything together, find the rod that you like. I like these glass rods. You don't have to get a glass rod. If you have a crankbait rod, a medium, I would recommend 7.3 or bigger, medium cranking rod of whatever brand you like. You know, you guys know with bass fishing, you can spend $50, you can spend $500, whatever it is you want to spend. Something that you really, that feels comfortable in your hand, because it's a lot of work. You know, deep cranking is a lot of work. So the lighter the rod and the lighter the reel kind of makes it a little better, a little easier on the body. Whatever low profile reel you like. And I recommend 10-pound fluoro of your choice. I like these two, the Invisex from Seagar and the Sunline. You've got a different brand you like mono, whatever you like best. I prefer the fluoro. And then the crankbait. Now, I don't throw these suckers that often. I have to be totally honest with you. I do not throw the 10XD that much. I don't throw these big 6 cents ones that often. I don't even throw the 90 that often. Now, granted, I've also only lived up here for a few years, so I'm still learning the lakes. For all I know, some of the lakes by me might be great crankbait lakes, and I just have not, you know, gotten into that, you know, pattern on the lake yet. I tend to throw more of something like a Norman DD22. I'll throw the dredger. If I know I'm going cranking, I would pull out the Mans if I was going cranking, the River to Sea. You know, now, just, you know, as a fisherman, I tend to throw the newer stuff more, the stuff that I first get. If I got on a great crankbait bite, I would pull all these out and put new hooks on them and get them ready to go and take them to the lake and try them out and get these Normans running through there. But if I knew I was going cranking tomorrow, I would go through the box, sharpen my hooks. If there's any hooks that need to be replaced, I'd replace them, and things like that. But find the rod that you feel comfortable with, find the reel you feel comfortable with. 10-pound fluoro, I wouldn't go higher. I guess if you're fishing super heavy cover, you want to go maybe a little heavier. That's up to you. I like to keep it around 10. 10 to me is like the perfect for getting the bait down to the depth you want. Now, where are you throwing these deep crankbaits? I'm not throwing, a lot of my lakes around here are pretty shallow. And I don't do a lot of deep cranking. I haven't really thought of it deep cranking them. I catch most of the fish on square bills on these lakes and traps and things like that. But if I was going to go to a lake that I knew had a lot of deep rock, humps, weed lines, my favorite place to throw deep diving crankbaits is on the outside of weed lines. The best success I've had deep cranking is getting on the outside of a weed line in, say, 10 to 15 feet and throwing these deep cranks, because you want this to hit the bottom. You don't want this just sailing through the water. You don't want to be in 40 feet and this just going down to 20 and just swimming along. Your odds are not great unless you get lucky and you find a suspended school of bass that want to munch it. I like to be on the outside of that weed line where I'm not getting caught in the weeds too much, and if I do, I can easily pop it out, and I'm just kind of cranking it along those rocks on the outside of the weed line. And let's say if I know I'm going to fish, let's say a 20-footer. Let's say I'm going to fish this Man's 20 plus. I'm not going to go to 25 feet. I'm going to go from 10 to like 16, 15, like that, because I want to be banging this. I want this crankbait be banging along the bottom. I don't want to just fish it in open water. I want it to be going along the bottom and banging along there to get those fish attention. So when you're deep dive, when you think you're deep, you're going deep cranking, don't think I'm going to go out in 50 feet of water and crank. I don't think your success rate's going to be very good, especially with a crankbait, a 25 footer even. You want to be in that 15 foot, even 10. Let it bang on that stuff. Let it bang onto those rocks, and then, you know, stop reeling and let it start. If it's a floater, it'll start to float up. A lot of times that's when you get your strike. After you stop, you're banging it through the rocks, and you stop reeling, and that bait starts to float up. Boom! That's when they nail it. So don't fish, if this makes sense, too deep. Don't fish past, you know, where your bait's going to dive to. 10 feet, 12 feet, 15, 18 even, if you got one that's going to go down 25 feet. Or if you know you're out in there and it's like 50 feet, and you know there's a hump out there. You want to go crank a hump. That's a good place for a deep diving crankbait. So my suggestion, deep weed lines, humps, points. You know, we're just talking deep diving crankbaits here. There's other crankbaits for different situations. I don't use these deep diving crankbaits if there's a lot of wood around. You're just asking to lose them. There's better crankbaits for wood than these, in my opinion. There might be guys who love it, that might watch this video and say, "Mark, you're nuts." It's not me. I don't go out in you know, standing timber and throw these kind of crankbaits. Square bills, yes. These kind, no. But you know, everybody's got their way to catch fish. There's no absolutes in bass fishing, we must remember. But I showed you guys a ton of baits. None of them are bad. They're all good. Some of you probably have used a lot of these. There's probably other ones I haven't mentioned that you've used. I haven't gotten into the Mega Bass deep diving crankbaits yet. I know I always see Duo Realis has some nice deep cranks I like to look at. Strike King has other ones I haven't tried yet. There's a ton out there. There's a ton of options. These are just a few of the ones I have, and none of them are bad. You know, you just have to take them out, throw them around, and get confidence in them. In my opinion, I don't know, just in my experience of bass fishing, some lakes are better crankbait lakes than others. It's just a thing. I don't know. But you're not going to know unless you do it. I may not have uncovered some of the deeper fish in my lakes around by me yet, because I haven't tried this. I haven't gone out there with a deep crank in 15 feet and cranked, you know, down there. I might be missing out. You just got to go out and do it. You know, if you have a lake that sets up good for a deep crankbait, give it a try. Give it a try. But as I said, pick your bait. Like these DD22s, I'll go out in 10 to 15 feet and just crank the bottom. All your crankbaits should be all scuffed up right here because you want that bait smacking the bottom. If it's not hitting the bottom, your chances of getting bites are very limited. Very limited. To me, those are almost like luck bites if you catch that suspended fish you just happen to throw the bait by. So I think that's it. How long did I talk here? 30 minutes? It's not bad. I figured it'll be an hour. But just to review, the rod you like, I prefer a medium, at least 7.3 or more. I mean, I got long arms, but I like the longer the rod, the further you'll be able to cast. Graphite, glass, you saw the 2 glass rods that I like to use. Whatever casting reel you like, they're all good. I have the Ardents, the Lulus, I have that Enigma I like. I have other ones in there, some Abus I like to use. A good solid casting reel with 10-pound fluoro of your choice. Tie your crankbait on and just go out there and throw it. And you can't throw it for 10 minutes and say, "Oh, this stinks, I gotta go throw a jig." Not that I would do that about 1,000,000 times, but you gotta commit to it. It's like anything else. It's like anything else. You've got to commit to it. You say, "I'm going to crank today. I want to see if this lake has good crankbait fish or if the crankbait is a good option here." And give it a shot. Go out there and throw it. It's a great way to catch fish. A deep crankbait bite when it's on can be a lot of fun. Can be a lot of fun. And you're fishing for fish that are probably not getting hassled too much. But I know if I go to a lake that I know has nice weed lines or nice rock, and that might be a little snaggy. Hey, instead of throwing my jig down there and having to get stuck every 5 minutes or lose all my drop shot weights, why not run a deep crankbait through there? Let's see what's there. Let's see how they react to it. So it's, you know, it's like anything in fishing. It's trial and error. You got to go out there and see what colors they like, what depth zone they're at. But as long as this bait is banging against something on the bottom, then you've got a good shot to get a bite. So it's a fun way to fish. It's really a fun way to fish. And as you can see, there's a lot of options for baits. I think everybody makes a deep diving crankbait. And there's even some old school ones like these hot lips from Lure Jensen that are kind of neat. But, you know, you could go out and get yourself some Norman DD22s for not a lot of money. Go out and throw them around. See if you catch anything. See if you catch anything. Or some Strike King 6XDs. Very popular bait. I would say most of the time when you hear, you know, if you watch a fishing show or guys are, you know, they're throwing a 6XD or a 10XD. You know, there's an 8XD too. I don't have any 8XDs. You know, or the Berkeley Dredger is pretty popular right now. And they have a lot of different sizes, so that's it. So I think that's it, guys. Hope I didn't put everybody to sleep in a half-hour video. Any questions on any of these, please put it in the comments. I know I covered a lot of baits. If you want to see just one brand and what I've got, I have no problem doing a follow-up video on that. But there's so, you guys know, there's so many options for deep cranking, and none of them are bad. None of them are bad. The best deep diving crankbait is the one you have confidence in when you think about it. So you got to get out and do it. Get out and give it a shot. It's a fun way to catch fish. But that's it. So like I said, any questions on any of these baits, as I said, I know I covered a ton of different baits. The rods, the reels, the line, anything. Let me know. You know, I love when you guys give me comments. It's great. That the reason I did this video is a subscriber request. So if you guys would like to see a video, I mean, I love throwing square bills. If you want to see a video on that, I could do a square bill video. I have hundreds of other crankbaits from different depths, shallow runners, medium runners, lipless. If you guys like to see videos on other crankbaits, I could do definitely a series on different crankbait videos, because I do crank a lot. As I said, I do not throw the deep diving cranks as much as I used to. Just haven't done it. I've been throwing the square bills more and the lipless and some of those shallow running baits like the Mega Bass Flat Slap and things like that. I've just been doing more, because I've been doing more shallow cranking. That's really why. But deep cranking is a great way to catch fish, especially in the summer months when the fish have moved off the shore and they're out, you know, moving along outside of weed lines and things like that. All right, guys. So as I said, I think that's it. Any questions, let me know. Any baits you want to see more of, let me know. If you guys saw my other video, I surpassed 1,500 subscribers, and that's all due to you guys. I really appreciate it. Couldn't do it without the support, and it really just motivates me to keep going on. So next goal is 2,000. So thank you guys. And you guys help me out by liking videos, sharing them, commenting, things like that. It all helps, and I really appreciate it. So I will see you guys soon on YouTube. Mark out.